Hey, how's it going? It's yours truly, Chiefs Rays Bolt here. This is it. The regular season has concluded. We have gone through 18 weeks like that. I mean, is it just me? Because I feel like it went by really quickly this year. The Kansas City Chiefs close out their regular season on a win in Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, over the Raiders to complete their sweep of not only the Raiders, but the entire division. Something the Chiefs haven't done in 6 years. Yep, that's right. Last time it was 2016. Hard to believe, but yes, first time Mahomes has swept the division, and it was probably in the most impressive year to do so. The Raiders, the Broncos, the Chargers, they all go spend so much money in the offseason just to compete with the Chiefs. The Chiefs, on the other hand, lose really big pieces. Tyreek Hill. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs win the division with ease this year. It is quite remarkable what the Chiefs were able to accomplish this year, despite all the competition, all the money being thrown towards the competition to overthrow them, and nobody could do it. The division gets swept for the first time in 6 years, and the Chiefs finish their season 14-3. The Kansas City Chiefs finish their season 14-3. It is their second ever 14-win season, first one being 2 years ago in 2020. The difference is that there was an added game this year. So the Chiefs really, if you want to compare those seasons, the 2020 team was better. They genuinely got the 14 wins. If it were still the 16-game season, they would have had 13 wins. But still, it is just beyond impressive what the Kansas City Chiefs have done this year. They have clinched the 1 seed, and we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end. So let's just get into this one, shall we? The Chiefs begin with the football, and they waste no time. A 67-yard pass on the second play of the game to Justin Watson would set the Chiefs up for a 1st and goal at the Las Vegas 3. It would take the Chiefs a couple of plays to find their red zone stride, but they would do so in the end. It was a 3rd and goal. Mahomes scrambling to his left, just shovel passes it to Jerick McKinnon for the touchdown. And it's unfair. It's just completely unfair that the Chiefs can just get away with backyard football on the real football field all the time. Yet they do it. They're having fun out there, and just, it's so fun to watch. Not only as a Chiefs fan, but as a football fan too. What other teams, there's no other teams that are clicking this much. And just having quarterbacks like Mahomes, who will just find ways to shovel it to you, underhand it, whatever. It's just this team consistently plays backyard football. And the team, they've been inconsistent for a majority of this year, I will admit, but when they make plays like this, it really makes you feel good about the team. It's 7-0 Chiefs, as Butker would not miss the PA team. The Raiders would receive the ball back, and they would go downfield and set up Carlson for a 54-yarder. The kick is good. It's 7-3 Chiefs. The Chiefs would receive the ball again, and it's looking like the same old week in, week out Chiefs. They get the ball, they run 8 plays, and they have no choice but to punt it, which would set up the Raiders for, well, an interception. Yeah, the Chiefs would get the ball right back. The Raiders on the 4th play of their drive. It's Jarrett Stidham, mind you, Derek Carr, he's done. He's no longer going to be a Raider. He was already sitting out. He was already away from the team to not be a distraction or whatever, so he left Jarrett Stidham to be the quarterback. And Stidham then, respectfully, throws an interception. It's a deep right pass that's just picked off by Juan Thornhill. The Chiefs then turn that into a 3-play touchdown drive. 28-yard pass to Juju, 14-yard pass to Kadarius Toney, and then at the Vegas 2-yard line, 1st and goal, the Chiefs hand it off to a name that has not been heard a whole lot this year. Ronald Jones II for the Kansas City Chiefs, longtime Buccaneer, sat on the bench a majority of this season because he's just being outplayed by the other running backs, but he gets utilized here. And I've also noticed that he's being utilized a lot more towards the end of the season, which is great. You want these guys, and you want them getting reps, you want them getting playing time, you want them to just find their stride and be a serious threat in the playoffs. And I'm really digging the fact that we're handing more balls off to Ronald Jones. It's a great thing. He gets a touchdown, I believe it's his first as a Chief, coming in the last week of the regular season. But yes, it's 14-3 Chiefs. The Raiders get the ball back. They would get down to the Kansas City 7. 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal. They don't get it. All incomplete passes. What do? Well, it's the end of the season. You're down 14-3, nearing halftime. You have absolutely nothing to play for. Hell yeah, you go for it. It's 4th and 2 at the 2. Stidham and the Raiders, they go for it, and it's an incomplete pass intended for Devontae Adams. And the Chiefs get the turnover on downs at their own 2-yard line, and they would make it work. 12 plays, 98 yards. 98 yards in 12 plays. It's a Kadarius Toney 11-yard run. But not before Kadarius Toney had already scored a touchdown on the previous play when the Chiefs line up, ring around the Rosie style in the huddle for the touchdown, only for it to be negated by one of the weakest holding penalties you'll ever see. I don't get it. Somebody help me understand. This ref crew, I don't remember who it was. I don't know the name of the head ref, but I remember looking them up prior to the game and saying, they're not bad. They're good refs, they're a good crew. No, they're not controversial. Not a whole lot of people know. That's the key. It's like if you don't know who the ref's name is, that means they're probably pretty good. If you don't know who they are, if you're not bothered to go research who they are, they're probably a good ref. And that's kind of how this crew was. I looked them up. I recognized the face. But it's just nobody really ever has issues with this crew. And they did really good this game, too. I'll give them credit. But it was just this one play in particular. Of all plays, dude, of all plays in this game to call a weak holding call, does it have to be this play when the Chiefs do some really silly ring around the Rosie backyard football shit? Like, does it have to be the play? This would have been on every freaking touchdown highlight reel, unique touchdowns, whatever. It would have been on so many highlight reels for years and years to come. Nobody's ever done this before. I mean, it's literally, they're just having fun and making the Raiders look like fools. They're showing that they don't care about the Raiders by doing this. And for it to be negated by, not just a hold, but a hold that did not affect the outcome of the play whatsoever. It really genuinely pissed me off. Because even the announcers on TV were like, that was not a hold. It's not a hold. Just, why you gotta do this, man? Like, if you want to call holding on every play, you can fucking do it. Because guess what? Every single snap of every single game, there is a holding. Somewhere in that dog pile of offensive linemen and defensive linemen, there's somewhere in that pile, there's at least one holding every single snap. I guarantee it. That's why you're only supposed to call holdings when A, it's obvious, and B, it affects the play. It affects the outcome of the play. That's not what happened here. Creed Humphrey, by him committing this hold, it did not affect the play whatsoever. And even if it did, it was still a very, very weak hold. And it really pissed me off that you're going to negate that by that. That's what I have a problem with. But then Kadarius Toney said, fuck you, I'm going to get the touchdown anyway. And that's exactly what he did on the very next snap. 11-yard run. Gets tackled from the back as he's hurtling over the goal line. And I guess it broke the plane. So it's 21-3. Kansas City. The Raiders would receive the ball, obviously, and on 3rd and 27, Jarrett Stidham gets sacked by Dana, who forces the fumble, and then the fumble is recovered by Karlaftis, a guy that you haven't really heard his name a whole lot this year, so that's a good sign, hearing his name. He recovers the fumble for no gain, and the Chiefs immediately, with 17 seconds and a fumble, are already set up in field goal range. So they don't have any time to work a touchdown drive, obviously, because the fumble happens with 17 seconds left in the game, which means that their first snap, there's 9 seconds left. So, yeah, you have to run a quick play and then go for the field goal. It's a 44-yarder. Harrison Butker, it's good. It's 24-3. Kansas City going into halftime. And I think at this point, the Raiders just lost all hope. The Raiders ran out of shits to give. Their season's over. They're not in the playoffs. They've been eliminated for quite some time. They have Jarrett Stidham and a couple of other backups, I'm sure. So, I mean, really, the team's probably just like, yeah, no, we don't really care. We just want to collect our bag and go home and rest for the next year. That's probably what they're all thinking. They probably just, 24-3, let's just settle down at this point, So, the Raiders would receive the second half kickoff, and they would turn that drive into an eventual 38-yard Daniel Carlson field goal. It's 24-6, Kansas City. Then we would see a series of punts. 4 straight punting drives. It would go 3-and-out Chiefs, 3-and-out Raiders, 7 plays for the Chiefs and punt, and then a 3-and-out for the Raiders. You had the punter for Vegas, Cole, pinning it at the Kansas City 2. Then you had Tommy Townsend pinning it at the Vegas 4 on the next drive. So the Chiefs finally get more than a punt. They get a touchdown, actually. 7 plays, 62 yards. They get down quickly to the Las Vegas 2-yard line. And on 3rd and goal, it's a Isaiah Pacheco rushing touchdown. It's 31-6 Kansas City in the 4th quarter. The Raiders get the ball back, and apparently they still have a little bit of pride left in them as they would go downfield and they would get a Hunter Renfrow touchdown pass from Jarrett Stidham, 11 yards. On 3rd and 10, the KC 11. So it's 31-13 with 6.5 minutes left in the game, and at this point there would be no more scoring. The Chiefs get the ball back, they go 3 and out. And then the Raiders receive the ball on 4th and 21 with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. They go for it. They have no choice. They have nothing to lose. And then Stidham on 4th and 21 would be sacked by Chris Jones. Chris Jones had 2.5 sacks on this game, a combined 6 sacks for the entire Chiefs defense. Impressive. It's way beyond impressive. The Chiefs receive the ball back with 4.5 minutes left. The game is not over, as the Chiefs still have to go burn the Raiders timeouts and get the 2-minute warning pass and all that stuff, and they would just keep handing it off relentlessly to Ronald Jones. At this point in the game, they had Chad Henne in for Patrick Mahomes because it was over. So anytime you hear Henne's name walk onto the field, it's usually a good thing. Usually it means Mahomes has done his job, the game is out of reach, and we're just killing time. And that's what happens. So 3rd and 10 at Las Vegas 21. Ronald Jones goes up 13 yards to the first down. 2 minutes over. Chad Henne will just kneel the next 2 snaps, and the game is over. The Chiefs, they get the number 1 seed. Now, let's talk about the number 1 seed real quick, shall we? Because there is a lot of talk about, well, did the Chiefs truly deserve the number 1 seed? Because as we all know, Buffalo was placed at a little bit of a disadvantage due to the whole Damar Hamlin situation, which, by the way, it was incredible to see the NFL community at this point in time all just come together as one unit in support for Hamlin and his family. And it really just reiterates how football really is more than a game, and it's a family. So really, to see the entire league come together as one in support for Hamlin was inspiring to watch, and I think it was a little bit of an eye-opener for a lot of people too. So it was extremely unfortunate that the whole situation happened in the first place, but this is no reason to blame the Chiefs, right? It's no reason to say, oh, well, Chiefs shouldn't have, it's a Mickey Mouse 1 seed or whatever, the Chiefs don't deserve it. Who's to say the Bills would have beaten the Bengals in that game? Because from what I remember, before Hamlin unfortunately collapsed, the Bengals were red hot. I mean, they were going down and scoring quick. There's really no telling who would have won that game, and I'm not going to be that guy that's saying, oh, well, the Chiefs deserve it because the Bills were going to lose. No, nobody knows who was going to win that game, right? But I'm just saying, you don't know that the Chiefs really don't deserve it because you just don't know what the outcome of the game would have been had the whole situation have not happened. So it's not fair to blame the Chiefs. It's not fair to say, oh, well, they don't deserve it. It's not our fault that the whole thing happened. It's not. I think really who got punished the hardest was the Bengals. The Bengals, who would have had a run at the 1 seed had they won that game and the next game, and had the Chiefs and Bills both lost out, yeah, absolutely, they could have gotten the 1 seed. So with them not playing the game, they're the ones who got screwed the most. The Chiefs are the 1 seed. They finished 14-3. Had the Bills won that canceled game, they would have also been 14-3. They would have had the tiebreaker over the Chiefs, as they already beat us in the regular season this year. So then the Bills, hypothetically, would have been the 1 seed. It was possible, had that game been played, for the Bills to acquire the 1 seed from the Chiefs. So this is the NFL solution. If the Bills and Chiefs play each other in the AFC Championship, it will be played at a neutral site. And the NFL announced today that if that were to happen, the neutral site would be Atlanta, Georgia, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is fair. I was worried they were going to say something like Detroit. Those who know, the Bills have played 2 games in Detroit already this year, so that wouldn't have been very fair. Atlanta's a good place. It's indoors. The Chiefs haven't played there since the 2018 preseason. I don't know when the last time the Bills played there, but I know they didn't play the Falcons this year. I think it's a fair solution. Obviously, it sucks that the Chiefs would not be getting home field advantage. They wouldn't have the AFC Championship at Arrowhead Stadium. It's become a little bit of a tradition these past 4 years to do so, but I'll tell you why it's okay. The first reason is that, first of all, it's not just me out here telling you, oh, well, this is going to happen. The Bills are going to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to be in the AFC Championship. No, the Chiefs have to earn it. The Chiefs have to earn this spot first. They have to beat whoever comes out of the wild card in the divisional round. They have to do their job to win that game. We can't just get ahead of ourselves and complain about neutral site, get ahead of ourselves and say, oh, well, this is going to happen, because we don't know. We don't know at all. But because the Bills and Chiefs have been the top two dogs in the AFC for the last couple of years, there's a reason that there's a lot of people that are assuming that this is probably going to happen. Again, it's all hypothetical. We don't know for sure that this is going to happen. I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with it because if this does happen, Mahomes' stats on the road are a lot better. Josh Allen has been iffy this second half of the year. He's been iffy since he's played in Arrowhead in week 6, I think it was. Allen's been an iffy guy. Like, don't get me wrong, still a top-tier quarterback in the league, but his numbers haven't been fantastic in the second half of the season. However, Allen has never played a bad game in Arrowhead Stadium. Never happened. Allen just turns up the jets in Arrowhead Stadium. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I can't explain it. There's no, reason for it. It just happens. Allen statistically plays some of his best career games every time he comes to Arrowhead Stadium. It's just what I've seen as a fan. It's undeniable. If you're a Chiefs fan, you just know that's true. So the fact that Allen plays elite level play at Arrowhead Stadium for whatever odd reason, and the fact that Mahomes has much better stats on the road, I don't mind the hypothetical Atlanta neutral site championship game. I don't mind it. It really sucks that the Chiefs can hypothetically be robbed of hosting yet another AFC championship. I read something that Kansas City would lose $10 million in revenue because of this. So it sucks for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the number one priority in this entire fiasco, and that is, of course, Damar Hamlin. So with that being said, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel going into the playoffs. It's your boy. Peace out.